A day that was supposed to be filled with joy and bliss to the people of Hyrule. A day of celebration in honor of the Picori. A day that you just couldn't script. The day of the long-running Picori festival was a rather eventful one this time round. The winner of an annual sword competition would have the honour of touching the sacred Picori blade, a relic left by the near legend of a race known as the Minish or Picori to the Hylians. Long story short, the winner of the competition was an evil sorcerer known as Vaati, and he got a little bit too handsy with the sword. Vaati shattered the Picori blade, hoping to find the light force within the chest the blade is impaled within, but this ended up resulting in the bound chest bursting open and releasing unheard of evils into the kingdom. Then Vaati turned Princess Zelda to stone and vanished. Now, for a Legend of Zelda game, this isn't too out of the ordinary, but there is one standout thing about the opening on the Minish Cap: Vaati. He may seem like your average Zelda antagonist at first, but he by far has one of the utmost interesting and also mysterious backstories. We know he wasn't always stained with evil, as he once used to be the apprentice of our companion in the game, Ezlo. He used to work in the Minish realm. This means that at one stage of his life, he was but a mere Picori, but unfortunately, over time, Vaati became interested in evil. That interest turned into a love for evil, and then developed into a passion and lifestyle for evil and wanting power. He then went on to steal a gift Ezlo made for the Hylians and used it to turn Ezlo himself into a magical cap, and with that, Vaati fled off to Hyrule to seek out the Picori blade and the light force, as acquiring the relic of a blade and the powers of the light force would fill his hunger for power and evil. That's the backstory and information on Vaati that we are told. But this bandit-looking sorcerer hides one huge secret: his connection to the Sheikah. And today, we are going to explore into and theorize on the possibility of the sorcerer and wind mage Vaati being connected to the shadow folk known as the Sheikah. To begin this theory, let's take a long hard look at Vaati himself. The man has so many traits that only the shadow folk, the Sheikah, would have been known to possess. He has the ability to teleport and vanish whenever he likes. He wears the two main colours that represent the Sheikah throughout the Zelda series, red and purple. He's an expert in the craft of magic, just like the Sheikah. His final boss forms highly resemble the Sheikah eye, and one of the most notable details about him, his eyes and facial features create a simplistic Sheikah eye logo, and his eyes themselves are red, a body feature of none other than the Sheikah. It's clear that he must have some sort of connection to the mysterious shadow folk. It's very unlikely that the developers just thought Sheikah designs would look cool on the main antagonist of the game. Granted, the developers of the Minish Cap were Capcom, it's still very unlikely, as Nintendo were supervising them making the game, so the chances of Nintendo allowing that to pass as just a design choice isn't too likely. So why did this design pass, and just what is Vaati's connection to the Sheikah? Well, firstly, the fact that Vaati has red eyes must mean there is some form of Sheikah in his blood. This can only tie back to his parents. Two individuals we don't know anything about, but we can safely assume someone in his bloodline had or has some Sheikah in them. Unless this is some sort of impossible coincidence, but we will go with the first suggestion. So say one of his parents were of Sheikah blood. How is that possible? We know the Sheikah were relatively new to the Kingdom of Hyrule around this time, as in Skyward Sword, the chronologically first game in the timeline, we see the early shadow folk, Impa being our best example, and it's very much possible that within those early years of the kingdom, the Sheikah ventured the lands and expanded their tribe, if you know what I'm saying. If you ask me, it's the only way these circumstances would have occurred, but whilst we can't guarantee it, we'll roll with it for now. So say this is the case, does it have some sort of tie into his evil desires? Well, I believe so. For one, the Picori are a peaceful race. They are practically the embodiment of good. For one, only well-behaved children are actually able to see them. Any child who isn't pure, if you will, does not have the ability to see the Picori. The Picori are also responsible for the rupees and hearts we find within the grass across almost all of the games within the Zelda series. They also make kinstones, a way of bringing people together almost. The point is, they are the goody two-shoes of Hyrule, but clearly there has been some sort of breach into their immaculate way of life. We know Vaati became interested in evil, and that interest must have come from some sort of external source, with the potential source being his connection to the Sheikah. But even that doesn't make much sense, as the Sheikah people are generally considered to be good people, especially since they are associated with the royal family. So where on earth has this influence came from? The Minish Cap comes directly after Skyward Sword, so there isn't a game in between the two to draw a source from. Could this one just be an endless mystery? It would certainly seem so, but surely there has to be a reason for this 1 in a million situation to occur, an evil Minish, evil within the good. Well, although this is a Minish Cap theory, there is something within the other games Vaati appears in that could hint towards the source of his evil wants. Vaati can also be found within 4 Swords and 4 Swords Adventures, 2 other Zelda games made by Capcom, but within one of them, Vaati is referred to as the Immortal Demon. What? That sounds awfully familiar to the Immortal Demon himself, Demise. So there you have it, Vaati is Demise, case closed. No. That wouldn't make sense, and neither does his title of the Immortal Demon. That wouldn't make sense, and neither does his title of the Immortal Demon, as the Immortal Demon, Demise, cursed the lands of Hyrule, resulting in evil to be born into the land. Wait, could that evil have been Vaati? An attempt to corrupt the world from the inside? It's possible, but let's say this is the case. How does the Sheikah tie into this? I mean, Vaati is clearly in some way part Sheikah. It's not even up for debate. If we compare him to any other Minish within the game, he's a total opposite. Red eyes and darker skin, a purple cloak. It just doesn't add up, and I gotta tell you, this mystery's kept me up at night a few times, not just in the production of this video, but also when I last played the game and first noticed these details. If we look at the Sheikah and Minish races, you'll find that they serve similar purposes. The Sheikah were originally servants to the goddess Hylia prior to the sealing of Demise. The Minish are helpers of the land, there to bring joy and happiness to everyone, and they're also the ones who leave rupees and hearts within the grass. They both serve good purposes, but another thing they both share is that they are both leaps and bounds ahead of the Hylians when it comes to how advanced they are in their own respective civilizations. We have seen time and time again that the Sheikah are miles ahead of the Hylians, but yet are practically servants to them. The Minish, they are advanced too compared to the Hylians. Magic learners, rupee placers, hell, they even came from the Minish realm to save the Hylians when monsters invaded their land. The point is, both races are highly advanced and ahead of the Hylians, but yet act as servants, if you will, to the Hylians. Now, the theory I'm proposing here is that Vaati was one of the first ever defectors to the land. We know a pure Minish would never and could never defect and turn on the Minish and Hylians, but we do know the Sheikah can, and have. At this point in the series, we hadn't seen it, but in Breath of the Wild, we are shown that the Sheikah do indeed have the willpower to defect. This is shown with the Yiga clan. Long story short, the Sheikah clan became too advanced for the royal family's liking, and forced them to stop their work and live normal lives as they saw it as a threat. Most of them respected the decision of the royal family and cast off the Sheikah technology development and went away to Kakariko village and other settlements to live their lives as the average Hylian would. But some, now known as the Yiga clan, defected and turned on the royal family. This means the Sheikah do indeed have the willpower to turn, and given the Minish are practically miniature gods of the kingdom, they don't have it in them to turn on the Hylians. All but one. One who isn't 100% Minish. The part Sheikah, part Minish, evil sorcerer, Vaati. He had the willpower to even become interested in evil. He had the willpower to go through with his passion for evil. With his Sheikah roots, does that mean it's possible he just happened to find it inside him to make a place in his heart for evil, since it was technically possible? Could the Sheikah have an unknown evil side to them? Could I be an idiot looking too much into this? Yes, yes, I definitely could. But where would be the fun in that? I suppose this theory has turned into a bit of a conspiracy theory, if you will. This could all be down to his impurity. The fact that he isn't 100% Minish could have resulted in him having the feelings inside that he was just an underappreciated servant of sorts, and that the Hylians were exploiting his magical abilities and talents for the good of their land. Similar to how some of the Sheikah in Breath of the Wild took being exiled and formed a rebellion known as the Yiga clan. We know the Sheikah liked their space and privacy, hence the nickname the Shadow Folk. And perhaps Vaati got some of that within him. The Minish Cap was released back in 2005, and back then, not as much info was given out in the same vein as creating a champion for Breath of the Wild, giving us all of the ins and outs for the game. So with all of this, can we answer the question? Is Vaati an evil Sheikah member in the Minish Cap? I'm going to have to say yes. The signs are all there. His final boss form includes large Sheikah eyes akin to the Sheikah eye symbol. He has dark tanned skin, red eyes, clothes of a shadow compared to his Minish family, excels in magic and can teleport at will. It's obvious to me now. Vaati is indeed 100% part Sheikah, and an evil one at that. And given his nickname, the Immortal Demon, could he be the works of Demise? I'll let you guys have your own say on that. But be sure to keep in mind that this is only a theory. Be sure to let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, as I've been trying to bring a wider variety of Zelda games to the channel over the past few weeks, and I just had to cover one of my all-time favourites, the Minish Cap. I also want to take the opportunity to say a huge thank you to all of you. At the time of recording this video, we recently passed 9,000 subscribers, meaning we are now only 1,000 away from the big 10,000 mark, a goal I've been aiming to reach before my birthday on the 30th of November, and it's looking very possible. So if you enjoyed the video, it would be highly appreciated if you could give the video a like and maybe even a share. It's very much appreciated. Another huge thank you goes out to all of my Patreon supporters. Your support really helps me to keep running the channel and make videos like this as often as possible. So a huge special thank you to Hexovian, Leonarco1, K-Tala, Karika, Saphira Sky, Daniel Kilman, Neighborslove13, Barky Doggo, Arlie Quinn, M, Chris Simpson, Andrew and Brett Harris. I can't thank you guys enough for what you do. Thank you. Again, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and let's smash that goal of 10k as soon as possible. Until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.